There is virtually no human being who is truly a hermit, or when there are, they are the exceptions that affirm the rule. The question is, who gets to choose which group you belong to? Huge research literature about in-groups and out-groups. The one thing that they confirm is the human paradox is that on the one hand, we want to declare our uniqueness, and on the other hand, we want to belong to groups, but we want to choose the group we belong to. And that choice is never entirely up to us. You can say, I am an X. Other people who are already X have to say, yes, you're an X, you can join. And in addition, there's often a greater force, a greater social force that says, yes, you're an X. No, you're not an X. We recognize you, we don't recognize you. Think of the first day after childbirth. Already I mentioned how you look at gender and you say, tell a story about the boy or the girl. But you do other things. You register a name, father, mother, last name. That already establishes you, puts you into a family and a kinship group. In certain countries, at certain times, you have to put down religion. In Turkey, there has been a debate recently, I'm not sure where it is, but there are people here from Turkey who can tell us, where the question of should the religion be put in the birth certificate and in the identity papers came up. If you go to a hospital, they ask you what your religious identity is in many places in the United States. They assign you citizenship or refuse to assign you citizenship. In the US, they put down race. The categories come right down on you from the very beginning, and you choose to exchange those categories to step out of them only at a certain cost. Western literature, you know I teach literature by profession, is full of stories of conversion. When you convert, you really are saying, I give up this identity for that one. To us now, it's hard to understand unless you're following ISIS and what's happening in Raqqa, what a huge thing conversion used to be. What an enormous thing religious conversion was. People died for it, as you know, Nahadagder, martyrs, etc., and it's always wrenching. So one of the questions about identity is, sure, there are a multiplicity of scripts. Sure, there are more choices than ever. Sure, that you don't have to be purely this or purely that. There is a lot of hybridity that's possible nowadays. But the question abides, what are the conversions that you most desire, that are most difficult, that you have to pay the highest cost for? When Armenia became independent, Levon Ter-Bedrosian said, why should we give diaspora Armenians Armenian citizenship? Because they have Armenian identity. The people who live here have to suffer the conditions of here. They have to, if they're males, they have to fight and die for this. They have to pay taxes. Why would you, on the ground of identity, claim that you deserve Armenian citizenship? Some of you are old enough to remember that debate from 1991 on, really until Kocharyan. And if you look at it closely, the question was that in diaspora, we thought identity was that thing that we sustained by our passion, by all the work, as Mr. Israelian mentioned, all the work of philanthropists, all the work of people who gave their luma, their tiny contributions to make things happen, who gave their time of their lives to make things happen. There's so much passionate Armenian identity involved in the sacrifices that make a diaspora work that you forget that there are other kinds of sacrifices that establish identity under other conditions elsewhere. We still, I think, are in that difficult situation of having deep beliefs in identity that are not congruent. If you talk to Armenians in Armenia, very few Armenians I've talked to from Karabakh, Armenians in diaspora, we still don't have a resolution on whether there is a transnational Armenian identity that we all have. I don't know whether you guys think that there is such a thing. I have the difficulty of simultaneously saying our soldiers have been attacked and yet not being able to spell out what identity I actually share with Armenians.